What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And you're listening to Liquid Carnage.
Liquid Carnage, gotta love it.
Hey, man, we are cruising with this podcast. I feel like we're really finding our stride with our topics, with our audience, with what people want to listen to us talk about.
The sound effects are much better, too.
Yeah, we have a much better
I'm doing
sound.
better on the editing.
Yeah, your editing is amazing. And I hope that you're finding us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Podbean, on iTunes. Leave us a review. Help us out here, man. The more 5-star ratings you give us, 4-star, the more ratings you give us. We prefer 5 and 4, but...
Well, I think the other thing, too, is go share us on your Facebook pages. Yeah. I mean, you can share us on your Facebook pages to your friends. All of that helps us grow the podcast.
But if you rate us on iTunes, then we start climbing up the charts on iTunes. And when we start climbing up the charts, people who don't know us get to see us, and they're going to see that picture of us, of two weird guys in a weird painting looking picture. Like, we should look at these morons and see what they're talking about. And then that's how we become famous.
That's right. That's right. So your liking us has helped us become infamous, and we're trying to become famous now.
That's right. You are giving two middle-aged men more confidence we probably deserve. But hey, man, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh. So, Scotty, I'm sitting at a restaurant last week. I'm sitting at a restaurant. My friend and I are having lunch. Not you. Different friend.
Different friend.
Different friend.
Must not have been my day to get called.
It wasn't your day to get called. We're sitting there. And a very beautiful woman comes in to the restaurant, and she's by herself. Now, I don't particularly care because I have a lovely girlfriend,
She's amazing.
My friend noticed her, and I then noticed her because, I mean, you have to look. It's kind of like a car accident at that point.
You're going to rubberneck.
I didn't really want to, but I did.
You felt the need to.
Now, that being said, she was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But I do see a very large wedding ring.
Like we're talking like a rock the size of Dwayne Johnson, the Rock.
I would say that it was a pretty big rock. It was noticeable. It wasn't
From across the room.
It wasn't a Walmart $99. I proposed to you in the Walmart ring.
He didn't go to Jared. He went to a custom jeweler.
Yeah, he probably went to Tiffany's, or he did the Sweet Home Alabama, where he took her to Tiffany's, said pick one kind of ring. I shouldn't say it. It was nice, very nice.
We don't want preconceived notions here.
About a minute later, as we're sitting there about how attractive this girl was, this short, 110-pound, tattooed-looking guy comes in and sits down with this woman.
Rich. He's rich.
And
he's got to be rich.
I was shocked. Like, this woman was gorgeous. This guy looked like he just got out of prison kind of guy.
Yeah.
It got me thinking, we've always talked about doing relationship topics and stuff on relationships because everyone can kind of relate. I wanted to talk about disproportionately hot relationships.
My first gut
Whereas one is really, really gorgeous and one is really, really nasty.
My first gut instinct, like I said earlier, is he's rich. And it's bad. I shouldn't say that. Gold digger. I shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't say that.
I shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't say that.
For all we know,
18-inch cock. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't.
He's a very sweet guy.
You can judge that. Yeah, you shouldn't
judge that.
He's a very sweet
guy. Yeah.
He's the pimp. She's the whore. You shouldn't say that.
No, you shouldn't say stuff like that.
You shouldn't say stuff like that.
I've seen relationships like that, and it goes both ways. I've seen very attractive women with very guys like, sweetie, you could do better, and I've seen
the other way.
I've seen the other way too, like hey, like, oh, okay, well, that's cool,
Love is blind.
Love is blind, and I maybe that's what we call this show, Love is Blind, and I always now that I've lived some life and I have some experience under my belt, I always refer back to How I Met Your Mother through a lot of life's things. That television show taught me a lot of little insights to relationships. And one of the episodes, they talked about how in every relationship there's someone that reaches and someone that settles.
Ooh, are you the reacher or the settler?
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Everybody wants to be the reacher. Everybody has to believe that they're the reacher. Nobody wants to believe they're the settler.
That's a good point.
Nobody wants to believe that. And maybe that applies in these cases too. I want to say that happens in every relationship. True, not indifferent. I can't say. But at some point, someone in that relationship has to take a stab at saying, I like you enough to where I want a relationship with you. And the person you're asking has to look back and say, you know what? All right. Or you know what? No. You're nice. And at that point, looks are out the door.
But we're getting into a gray area here because I look at myself and I look at Noreen. Now, she is obviously the more attractive person of the relationship, in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
That wasn't you to come in.
Sorry.
You're talking over me. Just let me put this out there.
Okay, sorry. Tell your story. I apologize.
She's possibly much more attractive than I am in the relationship. However, I will say, when I look in the mirror, when we're going to go out to dinner or we're going to go, I don't look so far off on the looks department that people would go, oh my gosh, what is she doing with him?
Yeah.
I don't think. Now, if you've seen a picture, if you've seen me out there, you're listening to this podcast, and you've seen me, and you really think that I'm hideous and Noreen is settling, don't tell me. Don't tell Scott. Just leave it to yourself because it'll crush me.
Live in the dreamland.
Yeah. This was one of those situations that if they walked by a mirror, they wouldn't look like they should be together. That's how disproportionately hot she was and how disproportionately ugly he was. Well, I mean, he was not a good-looking man. He looked like a drug user.
Let me play devil's advocate. You said he was covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
Some women like that bad boy. They like the tattoos. They like that look, that thuggish look. Maybe the guy's a nice guy. Maybe the guy's got money. Maybe the guy takes care of her and fulfills all of her needs emotionally. I mean, we don't know what happened, but you don't know unless you take the shot. So I give credit to that guy, and I give credit to
I'm really tired, so you just run your face into my hand because I want to slap you. Really? That's your, let's be the devil's advocate and let's say, oh, he's really like it. I understand that she probably really loves the guy. He might be the greatest guy in the world. But just from a purely superficial
standpoint,
jerk-off standpoint, there's no way that those two people should have been together. No way, not in a million years.
Like, it's not in the playbook. Mathematically, it should not be happening.
It shouldn't even be possible.
Yeah, it should be out of the question.
It should be out of the question. So when you look at that, and let's play the devil's advocate.
Okay.
Maybe he's a nice guy.
Okay.
Maybe he's a good guy. Maybe he's a sweet guy. Maybe he's rich. Maybe he has an 18-inch.
Yeah.
Maybe, now we're getting back to just what the reality is. There's something going on besides just he's a nice guy. Because, like the show, at some point, does she not think that she's pretty? And so she doesn't look at it as settling. She looks at it as I'm not pretty.
There's always that theory out there that some of the most beautiful women in the world are always single because people are afraid to hit on them. And that goes...
That's a big one.
And that's a big one. And it's a self-esteem thing. If you don't think that you're worthy of someone that is attractive or that is on your level of attractiveness... it takes a certain amount of ego to go up and to a beautiful woman, man, whatever, and hit on them. And you have to know, like, I'm on their level. And in some cases, you know what, I'm not on their level. But in a phrase, I'm going to repeat this, and it applies here. 50 nosy yes is still a yes.
I guess. And I'll be honest. I mean, Noreen has had men much more financially stable. I don't think they're better looking, but pretty good looking guys that she just doesn't even faze her, doesn't even attract her.
Mm-hmm. It's because she loves you. That's an important thing.
She does love me, but what I'm saying is that it's very possible that everyone's interest level is different. Like you said, maybe she's into tattoos. Maybe she's into guys that look like they're meth heads. I mean, maybe that's her thing.
Yeah, and I never anymore question why people are together, because what goes on in a relationship behind closed doors is between them. We can sit here, we can speculate, we can wonder all we want, but at the end of the day, it's not
we're such a superficial society.
We are.
Man. We are such a superficial society.
It's terrible. Maybe she's the sweetest girl in the world. Maybe he's the dumbest guy in the world. Who knows? But as long as she likes him and he likes her, I mean, who knows? And the other way around, the good-looking dude and the woman that's not quite as attractive. All the credit in the world to her, man. I don't know how she got him. He loves her for the way she takes care of the family, handles what he's looking for in life.
I had a friend in high school who his dad, he was a good friend of ours. His dad was he was about 5'6" and 100 pounds. Mm-hmm. One of these guys, and he was attracted and dated on a regular basis women that were 300, 350 pounds, and never thought about it, but one night we asked, what's your story? Like, why are you attracted to bigger women? Mm-hmm. And he said, the best thing you can do is get yourself a fat tattooed woman. And we kind of gave him a look like, what? What does that mean? Okay. Yeah. Well, because they give you shade in the summer.
Oh, my God.
They give you warmth in the winter.
Shut up.
And they give you moving pictures all year round.
This is fucking terrible.
But it's true. It's for him.
For him.
Not me.
That's his thing.
Not
That's
me.
his thing.
Love is blind, man. Love is blind.
Love is blind. I will never question why anyone got married. For the most part, if I don't know the situation, it's not for me to judge.
Yeah.
It takes all kinds to build a village. I could throw any more cliches out there.
You're good with cliches.
I am very good with cliches.
Throw a couple more out there, buddy. Throw a couple more out there.
But like I said, it goes back to someone's reaching and someone's settling. And whether they realize they're settling or not, it's completely...
They're settling or reaching because of our judgment. They may not be reaching or settling.
Touche.
I'm sure that Noreen says that where everyone else says, wow, Noreen, you're really settling. I'm sure she says, I feel like I've got the perfect match for me. He brings out the best in me. He brings out the best of what I'm capable of. I know the same thing is no one has ever looked at me and said, wow, Jason, you're settling for Noreen.
No.
But you're right. We don't know what's going on. Yeah. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
And just from a purely superficial standpoint, it's awkward to me. It is awkward to see a really attractive one person and a really hideous person on the other side.
Do you find yourself staring like at that couple? Like if you're sitting there having to have lunch and you find yourself like maybe watching them more than you probably ought to be because you're curious at that point. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like the same thing when you see the guy who's 7 foot tall dating the woman who's 5'2".
Yeah,
it's the same kind of thing. Like it's an oddity.
How does this work? Like physically, like how does this work? And you want to figure that out, so you find yourself watching and wondering and asking yourself some questions. And if you're so bold, you can ask these people those questions too.
I wasn't that bold.
Well, it was lunch, not drinks, so liquid courage didn't kick in right there.
Yeah, I would never ask that, but I do find it interesting. But then it leads into another thing, because if you are reaching or you are settling, at what point does it become critical? If you're settling or you're reaching, where you just say, you know what, I've got to end this relationship. Because, that happens a lot. One of the biggest things that Dr. Phil says, me and Dr. Phil are
You watch Love
tight.
Dr. Phil.
The only thing worse than staying in a bad relationship is staying in a bad relationship one day longer.
Oh, yeah.
And we have friends, that will endure a heck of a lot.
Right?
And not break a relationship off.
God,
now,
I can't
I'm not
handle
saying that superficially people who are not attractive to, would do that. Like, they wouldn't break up with someone that they started dating just because they were unattractive. But if there was a time where someone had to break up, what would be the time frame? Like, how do you know when enough is enough?
I mean, that's a great question. I think it's got to come down to personal choice. It's situational. I feel like once we talk about these relationships, everything becomes so situational that, we can say this is the case, but clearly it's not the case for everybody. And not every answer is going to fit every relationship.
Well, okay, let's start with this. Let's start this section with this part of the topic. You and I have both have had experiences where we've had friends who have said, man, I'm just miserable. This person is
Hell, I've
not
been that
fun.
friend. Absolutely.
It's not fun anymore, and it's not, just the relationship is brutal, and they're not treating me right, and they're not treating me fairly. And the next question immediately is, well, why do you stay with them?
Oh,
so
that's the question. I don't know. You get that answer. It's like, well, are you happy? Sometimes.
Yeah, for the most part.
Does it make you feel good about yourself? Sometimes, when she's not mad at me, or if she's not done yelling at me. It's like, then why are you doing it? Life's too short. If you're gonna break it off, you gotta break it off. And there's, a belief out there that if a guy breaks up with a girl, it's not done. It is never done in a relationship. That's how those yo-yo relationships get started. You go back and forth, because a guy thinks, I'm done, I don't need this. Then he goes away and realizes that, oh shit, this woman kept my life in order. She kept me under control.
Grass isn't greener on the
Grass
other
is not always greener on
side.
the other side. So you go running back. But if you don't address the problems and fix the problems that you broke up with over the first place, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it, a woman, from personal experience, will put up with a lot, but when they're done, they're done. Like, they don't come back. They want to find something else when they walk away. You might have a chance. You have a very small window to make it work, after they break up. But generally, a woman doesn't move on until she's ready and she's had enough.
Do you think, though, that a time to break up is a mutual feeling, or do you think that it's all one-sided?
I think sometimes you just know.
Because I don't know, most of the time, the guy is hanging on to the ankle, please don't leave me, or the girl's hanging on there, please don't leave me. It's never a good time when you're in a relationship with someone. It's never a good time to break up with them. But if you're the person that's thinking about leaving,
I knew a girl way back when in my 20s that dated a guy for a very long time, and she missed that window of breaking up with him very early on. She could have ended this thing and caused herself years of pain and agony because she stuck with him for a very long, almost 10 years after that.
Oh, wow.
And it was miserable.
Yeah, see, that's a long time.
Like, she caved on a lot of the things she wanted in life to make this guy happy. And very early on in the relationship, she was like, well, yeah, but we're going to go to Rocky Point this weekend. I don't want to miss that. Or his birthday's coming up and I don't want to miss that. And then it's the holidays and, like, that's stupid. I mean, honest to God, if you're sticking around because you don't want to miss that stuff, you're in it for the wrong reasons anyway.
Yeah, I can't break up with him because Valentine's Day is coming up, and I already bought the present.
And I don't want to be single.
And I don't want to be single.
Nobody wants to be single. Like, shut up. This gets easier as you get older, and I've realized that those things aren't that big of a deal when you get older because your requirements in a relationship change. What you're willing to put up with changes. I have a very short limitation in my world now about what I will and won't put up with. And if I'm done, I'm done, man. Like, hey, listen, it's cool. It's been real. It's been fun. Sometimes it's been real fun, but this is not working. I
know, but Scott, you have this ability to, that these people that you start dating, they actually fall for you. So when you say, cut, don't you have any struggles with them saying, but I love you and I want to be,
No,
wow.
I don't.
Wow.
and I'm not trying to sound cold-blooded over it, and it sounds cold-blooded to say that, but at the end of the day, like, if I'm not feeling, they're not feeling it, and that's it. Like, you have to feel it. Like, you have to want to be in that situation. If you don't want to be in that situation, that's fine. Just be an adult and say, this isn't working for me, and it's time to move on.
I think the hardest part I have is I do go probably longer in a relationship than needs to be. Like, I have a very strong patience.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem, in both of my marriages, the biggest problem I had was I can bend. But
when you break.
But once I break,
you're done.
Oh yeah, there's like no reconciliation.
Yeah.
There is no what will lead up to the misery.
Yeah.
It's when I break,
you're done.
It's done. And the person says, "Well, what happened? Don't you want to try to fix it?"
No, we had our opportunities. We tried.
I don't really want to.
Yeah,
and I
feel
it's a negative.
The same way.
That's a negative. I'm sure that a lot of people, are really good about, let's try to work this out and let's try to make this better. And the biggest thing that I have a problem with is every time someone says, "Oh, let's try to make this better," it's usually one person that's willing to make it better, and the other person just says, "Well, this is working for me, so deal with it or get the hell out."
You have to address the problems. And that's the biggest thing.
But how do you get someone who doesn't want to address the problems to address the problems?
It doesn't work. Long term, it doesn't work. Either you're willing to bend and say, right, if they're not going to change on this, I love them that much, I'm going to stick with them. That's on you. That's you choosing your own misery. And misery loves company. But and we've met people, both male and female, that have stayed in relationships that are just they're fucking miserable, and they're making everybody miserable around them because they've just given up. Like, well, I don't want to be alone. Listen, man, I would rather be alone and do my own thing than be in a miserable relationship. And it's taken me a long time to figure that out. It took me a solid 2 years to get over my last relationship, period.
Wow.
And I'll be honest, man, some feelings never go away, but I would rather not, get into a relationship that doesn't have potential than, what am I trying to say? I don't want to jump into something if I know it's not right, and I'd rather be single. And if I'm going to be miserable in a relationship, why am I going to do it?
Yeah, but
why is anybody going to do it?
But that's what I mean. Don't you think that you have to try to make it work?
Either it's going to work or it's not. And if you have that window very early on in a relationship where you have that first real deep discussion, where you're going to play some cards and they're going to play some cards, and you're going to see how willing and emotional you're willing to get with this. To say, all right, this is what I feel is the problem. This is what I feel I need to get fixed. And this is what I feel like we need to work on. And if you don't have those early relationships that really heal the little things, those little things build.
Yeah.
And they turn into big, dumb things that can be fixed. And you realize you're breaking up over nothing. And it gets stupid.
And it's hard too because you can't just say, well, every relationship's different, because there are some things that I see, I've heard people, experience, and you do wonder, why are you staying with this person? What are you not seeing that I am and everyone else on the outside is seeing?
Why are you staying though?
Yeah, it's almost like they're because they're so close to the relationship, they can't step back.
Because when it's good, when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, man, you just got to ride that through. But the good times have to outweigh the bad times for that to be a thing. And I'm not sure that that's worth it in any relationship as I get older.
Well, and maybe a lot of it too is some people are afraid to fail.
That's it. That's a whole other topic. Yeah.
Some people are afraid to fail. They don't want to say, well, my relationship ruined. It's always been a pet peeve of mine. When you have a couple that breaks up and the one person gets really, really upset that they broke up, but then they find someone like 2 weeks later and they're already in a new relationship. Yeah. And it's like, why are you so upset about this relationship ending when you just
moved on
you just jumped into another relationship?
And generally, I've always chalked it up to the fact of they can't be alone. So they will run and try to be with anybody just to not have that feeling I've been hurt. They don't deal with their feelings at that point because you can't process feelings that fast after you get out of a relationship. If you went out on 2 dates and then that happens, that's one thing. But if you're together with someone for years, they say it takes 2 months for every year you've been together to get over that relationship.
2 months for every year.
So if you've been together with someone for 5 years, they say it takes about 10 months to heal yourself or recover and get back out there and start looking to date or just
Oh, okay. So 10 months before you can start dating again.
Yeah, or before
2 months for every year.
They say that you've healed with everything or as much as you can heal.
Yeah.
They say, and I've also read that it takes generally about 2 years to totally get over a relationship and be okay with moving on and doing everything else.
So what do you think is the appropriate amount of time to wait after a relationship ends?
Depends how long that you were together.
Let's say 10 years.
10 years? If you're together with someone for 10 years, what's it, 10? It's 20 months. It's a year and a half, almost 2 years creeping up on.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people wouldn't look at it the same way you. They would say, I might take me 20 months to a year and a half to get over this person, but in the meantime, I'm still going to be with other people. And
well, it's not saying you have to. I'm not saying you have to sit there and be a shut-in and I have to go home because my time's not up. I have to go home and watch Murder, She Wrote reruns because my 20 months isn't up or however the fuck long it is.
Yeah.
It's before you're able to get out there and fully know that you're okay starting something else. I'm not saying you can't casually date, you can't have fun, you can't go out there and learn to live your life again, but you have to figure out how to deal with that past baggage that you're breaking up with.
Do you think then that you're saying that if you don't wait long enough after a relationship ends, that you're just going to replay the same?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know someone very, very much like that, they're a hopper. They jump from relationship to relationship, together for a couple of years, and that's how they cope. They jump to one more, and that lasts a few months, and then they cope, and then they get yo-yoed, and they jump to something else. They don't ever actually deal with their feelings.
Okay.
And if they're not going to deal with their feelings and their own emotions, they can't break the cycle. And that's what prevents, in my opinion, healthy relationships, or the ability to have a healthy relationship, is because you're not willing to take a look at yourself and figure out what it is you have to do to fix that.
What would be too soon? Like if you were seeing a couple and they'd been broken up for a month and one of them was already shacking up with another guy, was that too soon?
Then she was already banging that guy, in my opinion.
Oh, so they were already banging before the relationship ended?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say very much. If you're together for a while and all of a sudden you break up and then someone's already dating someone else, there was something there. And I won't say maybe they weren't banging,
okay,
but there was some kind of connection there that made that person take
So
that
if you
step.
emotionally have checked out of a relationship and you have decided to start dating someone else, but you're still in the relationship, like a lot of couples do, they're married, they split up. Hey, I'm done with you, you're done with me, I'm filing the paperwork. They're still legally married, but they've moved on to another. Is that a problem for you in your mind?
It's funny. Actually, I had this conversation in the gym today. This very conversation. Because, there was...
And now that gym is Desert Sky
Fitness.
Okay, on Northern Avenue?
Northern Avenue.
That's a plug.
Cheap plug. You're welcome,
plug.
Ralph.
There you go, Ralph.
We're having this conversation today about dating when you're still married versus waiting until someone's divorced to start dating. And my opinion on it is pretty simple. They said, well, in God's eyes, you're married, so you have to wait till the divorce is final. And I'm like, but wait a minute. This is a legal contract with the state and the country, not with God. So if you separate from your spouse, you essentially become divorced from God's point of view at that time. But legally, you're still dealing with the contractual issues. So
I don't know. When I hear with the power vested in me by the state of Maryland, or the power vested in me by a religious school that I got my certificate in,
online certificate, Church of Universal Life,
then that is saying that you're in God's eyes.
Yeah.
So to say, well, it's just a legal thing, no, because you had the service. Most people do their service in front of a person who is been given the power vested in them by whatever thing it was, whether it was school or by a religious affiliation. So they are the vested eyes of God. So I think I disagree with you on that one.
I think that's a total line of bullshit. I really do.
A religious, a pastor, a priest is done because they want to legitimize the marriage in God's eyes.
Where do you file paperwork for other stuff in front of God's eyes legally?
You don't.
So what?
Christening.
Do you file paperwork with the state for that?
So if I baptize a child in the eyes of God, he's baptized in the eyes of God.
But what paperwork do you file with the state for that baptizing?
You don't. It's a religious thing.
Then it's different. Now it's religion versus law.
No.
It's very much different.
I know, but what I'm saying is most people, when they get married, they do it in front of a pastor,
and that part I don't disagree with. But my point of view is you're mixing church and state. You
can't see it on the podcast. I just rolled my eyes.
You're totally.
I just rolled my eyes.
Shut the fuck up.
I just rolled my eyes. You can't see it. I wish that I could slow-mo it down for you, but you can't see it on the podcast. Just know that I did it.
I will create a GIF and post it on our Instagram page.
No, but the person who you were talking to said that in the eyes of God, they're still married, and you're saying no, they're not really, because the piece of paper.
Well, no, they're not married because they're divorced, living separate lives, getting on with their life.
I'm talking more of getting back to it. I'm talking more of they're not divorced, legally divorced yet, but they're still married, but they're seeing other people because they're separated.
Yeah, but they're not living together. They're not.
In most cases, no.
Yeah. So what's the difference? And that's the part I have a hard time with. You're saying
because the girl is saying, but it doesn't matter because in the eyes of God, they're still married. That's why the Catholics believe once you marry someone, you're married to them unless you get it annulled. You're married to them for the rest of your life
until your next marriage.
No. Because the next marriage doesn't legitimize in the Catholic religion. The next marriage is never legitimized. You're living in sin.
If you walked into any Catholic church right now, you will see more people on their third and fourth marriages that have never had one annulled.
We have a friend who was married to someone who was Catholic. And in her eyes, they are still married.
Really?
Because they were married in the Catholic Church. And in the Catholic Church, if you don't annul the marriage, that marriage doesn't end. Look at Catherine of Aragon and Henry VIII. That's why he developed the Church of England, because
the Episcopalian Church.
He went to the Catholics and said, I don't want to be married to this woman anymore. And the Catholics said, well, unfortunately, you are still married because in the eyes of God, you're still married.
It's funny you mention that because I was raised Episcopalian. That is the Church of England, Episcopalian.
Okay.
It's Catholic light. It's all the preaching, none of the guilt.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. It's a very liberal church. But my point being is, you're talking the religious view versus a legal view. And if your legal view is, well, the paperwork hasn't been finalized by the state yet in the courts, so you're still married in God's eyes, I don't think God's got a law clerk up there saying, wait a minute, you're sinning until that paperwork's finally finished and you're paying alimony, child support, whatever. Who gets visitation rights to the dog?
So if we're living in sin and we are...
Everybody's living in sin now, whether you want to admit it or not.
So the question then becomes, how long after you say I'm separated, but before you get divorced, should you start dating someone?
I think you need to take a long, hard look at yourself and heal yourself.
Do you see it as a problem? Would you see it as a problem, just hypothetically or conceptually, if you knew of a couple who was still married but they've separated, and let's say they separated after they've been separated for 6 months? would it be a problem to you if you saw the guy or the girl dating someone else, even though they're married?
No.
How long would it be? And I guess maybe that was the question that we asked is, how long do you have to wait after you break up with someone before you should start dating? Not getting well,
But
not
dating?
healing, but actually dating, seeing other people.
I think 6 months might be a good. You have a chance to figure out what you're doing, who you are, how you get your life settled. If you move out on a Saturday, and by the following Tuesday you're out getting drinks with someone brand new, you're rushing it because you're not trying to deal with your feelings. You're not trying to deal with with what's going on inside. You're just trying to fill and move on and not worry about it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'd say between 6 and 9 months.
And if it was 3 months, what would you have a judgment of a person who said, after 3 months I found someone I'm ready to move on?
No, I don't think so. I think just because someone.
What's too soon?
I think just because
A month is too soon. You said
Like-
they're
like
already
an
cheating
hour.
on you.
Like an hour.
They're already cheating.
like they're already on the online dating sites as they're packing their shit and leaving. No, you don't know how long couples actually separate in marriages before they actually separate. Moving to separate bedrooms,
Right.
moving to
that's true.
going out. You don't know. So just because they officially one person moved out in September and the other one started dating in March, that means nothing because you don't know how long they were separated beforehand. I mean, that's none of our business.
Okay. That's a good point. I don't have a problem with it. Like you said, for me, everyone has a timeline of themselves.
Yeah.
I do find it very odd. And this is how this section of this podcast started is I get really ticked when someone a couple breaks up and the one person makes the other person feel bad for wanting to break up the relationship, and then 2 months later they've moved in with someone and now they're
right.
like, you know what, you're not a real person in my opinion. If you're going to be so angry and judge someone so harshly, then move in with someone else or get with someone else after a month or 2 months, tells me you are just you just don't want the sense of being dumped, and yet you have no problem moving on.
You're trying to heal by not coping.
Yeah.
I mean, so therein lies the issue is you are.
But then again, I've always had that. It's always been a pet peeve of mine where, people get so angry and they get so mad at their partner for breaking up with them, and yet they go out and find someone like that and they're already dating or getting married. It's like,
makes you wonder how much is for show.
Calm down. Yeah, calm down.
Yeah, everyone's different in that regard. And
I know.
I've learned never to judge another situation because you really don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But yeah, I don't think running out the door to start dating again right after you get out of a relationship, whether it's marriage, casual dating, take a minute and just breathe.
And personally, like I said, I don't know what the right answer is because I've seen people
I don't think there's
who
a right
broke up
answer.
from marriage and never got back together with someone.
Yeah.
Never got back
You mean
together
never
with
dated
someone.
somebody else.
Never dated someone else. And then there are
Yeah.
the people that like, oh, we're over. I'm so sad. Oh, look, there's someone else. Cool.
Yeah.
And, squirrel. Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
So it's interesting. This all started because I saw
You saw
a disproportionately hot chick and ugly guy.
And now we're arguing about church and state divorces.
Now we're talking church and state and separation of thereof. So
I have a very hard time with people that want to hide behind the religious view but not accept the fact that there's a legal standpoint too and there's a separation in that.
You know what? Maybe this would be a great topic for another podcast.
Maybe it would be.
I'll have to put it on my list.
You should add that to your list.
Scott, great time tonight,
Hey,
man.
Jason,
Appreciate
thank
it. That
you,
was,
buddy.
that
Always
was a lot
fun.
of fun. Yeah.
Always fun.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this podcast. It gives us a chance to have things that happen in our life be the catalyst of a topic that will go and hopefully bring up some topics that people think about and have a fun time with it like we do. It's kind of fun.
It's meant to spur debate, conversation, being able to openly talk about what you find in life and what you're seeing. Because if you don't get these things off your chest, man, it's going to bottle up and you're going to explode one day. And I don't want to be around when you explode.
No one wants to be around when I explode.
But like I said, check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram. We're out there at Liquid Carnage.
If you like the podcast, share us on your Facebook page. Share us on your Twitter page. We'd love to reach out to more of your friends. And
rate us on
iTunes.
iTunes. Rate us on iTunes. We can't ask you enough to rate us on iTunes. But I want to thank everyone for checking us out today. I'm Scott.
I'm Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, have yourself some Liquid Carnage.